Module 10, Planning Center Online. This is a wonderful, wonderful software I've been using for over a decade at this point. It was originally known as Planning Center Online, and now it's moved into many, many different suites, a whole suite of different categories they cover. You'll see the purple is the check-in for children's check-in. There's the yellow heart, that's the mobile giving, online giving. The registrations, I just recently started using that as well for event registration online. The red is for event managing different like facilities within your property and your church. But the bottom right, the green symbol there, is services. And the music stand app that you see a screenshot of on the iPad helps you follow along live in the services app. And you're able to, as a team member, instrumentalist, worship leader, have your chord charts and the order of service all right there on the iPad, which is pretty incredible. It's an amazing software, and it's got a lot of amazing features worth using and considering. So, like I said, there's many layers and apps and ministry needs within Planning Center Online. The main and first app in 2009 when I first started using it was Services. And it's been a mainstay for worship leaders since. And they did such a good job with the Services app, with the Services software online, that it just grew into so many other layers. It's great for organizing your songs, organizing your database of keys, audio files for your team to go and listen, your PDF print files. You can have those saved online that your team can go look at. You can look at your volunteers. You can organize all your many volunteers and then phone numbers and email addresses, and your instrumentalist. So your volunteers, like in your team, tech, in different places, your ushers, even your greeters. I've seen churches use that before. But also your instrumentalist, your tech team, all of those things. It can be pretty overwhelming because it is a very exhaustive software to use. And I remember I spent days when I first started using it loading stuff into a database so I could then pull it up later as needed. But it's totally worth it in the long run. However, it's absolutely worth every minute that you spend using it. So they've got multiple apps. This is the Services app where you can plan your services. I'm a big fan of using the website browser more, and we'll talk about that in a little bit here, more than the app. But the app is really nice to be able to pull up things real quick and make a few adjustments to be able to listen to the music and rehearse. I've got it set up to where our choir members can even pull up the services. My praise team members can pull up the Services app, and they can listen to the music before we get to church, before we get to rehearsals. They can be as prepared as possible. So it's pretty incredible. This is just an infographic here. You can use the foot pedal to turn your pages for you there in the top right corner. You can make some edits it allows you to edit the PDF live within the software. It's also pretty incredible too, because when you make those edits of the file, the PDF file on the music stand, it does it differently. It saves different edits for different profiles you have set up. So if you have your guitar player has their own account, their own profile, it saves their edits and it won't mess with yours or the drummers or whoever else is using it. And you can see here there's an incredible amount of features where you can have the tempos, you can have all your clicks and things saved into here for people to practice exactly as though they're going to live with your team. The Music Stand app, I just kind of glossed over that real quick here. It allows your team to have personal practice time on an iPad or a laptop. It saves time and money in the long run for you and your team. So it allows them to have the time to work ahead of time. It saves time during your rehearsals. I've even burnt CDs before for my praise teams and band members. It transposes, you can transpose your music files to the correct key that you're going to play it in. I mean, it's incredible what you can do with this software. In the long run, it saves you time, but it definitely saves you money on print resources. It saves you money on those types of things for your team. It also allows your team to listen to the files that you provide on multiple services in those different settings. This is an example of what Planning Center looks like online on a web browser. This is what I prefer to use. I have a lot more options and flexibility, especially for, if you look in the top right corner there, mid corner, it says Matrix. That's my favorite feature within this software, within this website, is the ability to look at, like a spreadsheet, multiple services for multiple weeks and be able to plan worship in that way, in that form. It's pretty incredible. You can see a lot of the things here. There's rehearsal times. Again, this software is incredible. It can be kind of exhausting and kind of terrifying, honestly, at first. But give yourself time. They have hours upon hours of tutorial videos on how to learn more about the software and how to use it and how to set it up. But in its essence, you can see here, this is a service. The folder that this service, September 29, 2003, it's in the folder Contemporary Service. So you can have multiple different services with multiple different orders and multiple different setups. You'll see the time to the left there of each song, Our God, Set Free. They had I like to go in and put the exact time of the original recording. That's my best estimate of how long a song will be. And you can put in headings or headers like welcome, everybody sets it up differently, but it gives you a lot of options, and it helps your team stay organized. It helps you as the worship leader and your tech team stay organized. But it's pretty incredible stuff that you'll want to learn more about and setting up with this. Here's an example of and they got multiple different templates you can use and set up with, but how you can have a spreadsheet, especially for like your tech team here. It says sound, Spotify, video, GFX, light cues, one. It gives your team the rundown as you go through the service, so they don't have to remember everything, rote memory. But it allows you to communicate and stay organized. Fully customizable, fully flexible, as you need it to be. Some other incredible features, and one that I'm just recently beginning to use, is the scheduling feature. It allows you to communicate with your team on the schedules that you have them lined up for, to sing, to perform, to run tech, the different volunteers. They have the ability to get an email. The software will do this, an email and text reminders, and they can go in and respond and say, hey, I won't be there that weekend, or hey, can I switch with this person? It helps you stay more and more organized. And in the music ministry, worship ministry, there's so many details and so many people to keep up with. This is a software that helps you so greatly. And this is one of the big features that I recommend you learn how to use. Through this database, you can automate text and emails, like I said, to remind people and communicate with people about upcoming services. I mentioned the matrix view. For me, this is probably the greatest feature in the software. It allows me to look things in a spread out view as I long-term plan my worship repertoire, song bank, and it helps me to see some perspective of how many new songs that we're doing, how often we're repeating them, different things of that nature, what keys I'm using, and all of that in a pulled back view. But in its essence, this is an incredible software that I highly recommend you learn how to use. Like I said, there's hours and hours of YouTube content, how to get more in depth with it and how to understand more about it. But this is just a quick overview of how the software works and how you can use it in so many different ways. I definitely recommend you just go look into some different articles, some different videos, and just start using it. It starts out free. The beginning software package. It's based off of how large your church is and how many files you need to have stored. But it starts out free, and I can't recommend enough that you go download this as soon as possible and learn what you can and continue to grow in your abilities with it. Thanks so much.